From the gubernatorial race, to the congressional race, to slavery, I speak exclusively with Rocky D for a special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores.
Rocky D.
Here I am.
Yes, sir.
In the library again, the College of Charleston Library. So far I've been here 10 minutes and I haven't even been thrown out. They even saw the sign and I got the, oh, you again look, you know how it is. That guy, that Quintin guy is not interviewing you, is he? Oh my God, yeah, we're doing it today. But there's less people here so I won't get thrown out. Hopefully I won't get thrown out. There is a guy studying a couple rooms down.
That's why I moved here.
That's why you moved all the way down here. Yeah, see, there you go. I'm the foghorn I'm the loudest mouth in the South. They call me that for a reason, and I've been there. So where do we start? We start with the McMaster thing.
Well, I was going to tell you yes, because obviously him and John Warren are in a runoff. Businessman John Warren from the upstate and current Governor McMaster. How did McMaster get into a runoff?
He got into a runoff because there is a current trend going on of throw the bums out, throw the guys out. Everybody says, well, I don't want anybody who's been in office for a long time. We're going to get rid of him and replace him with someone new. Everybody always says that until it's their representative or their senator or their congressman. You remember? Oh, yeah, we're going to get rid of them all. Except Jim DeMint will keep him. You know, that thing happened a long time ago, too. It doesn't really correlate in the main election. It doesn't. There's a whole lot of people that tell me all the time, I'm not voting for Lindsey Graham. We're going to vote him out this time. Lindsey Graham won't win. Every time he wins. Which only leads me to one conclusion. Either the people that are telling me that aren't voting, or they're voting for Lindsey when they're telling me something else. McMaster, being an incumbent, it's a tough thing to do, like Sanford found out. McMaster was so far ahead of the rest of the pack, the only thing McMaster failed to do is fail to reach 50 plus 1. 50% plus 1 vote. Warren, right now, he has the internet Tea Party online army behind him. For now. Okay, for now. But I got a feeling that there's a certain percentage of them that will vote the other way when push comes to shove. A lot of people will say things in public that they don't want to argue with people about. Okay, they'll say things in public so they don't have to get in an argument. It's like when you go to a family dinner for Thanksgiving and you say, and you wear this hat. Make America great again. You know what? All I got to do is say Donald Trump's name. All I got to do is say Trump, and my niece faints dead away. I was told not to say Donald Trump at Christmas dinner. The guy's the president. I interviewed him. I sat and had dinner with him.
You did?
Right. And he's a nice guy. McMaster is so far ahead, all he has to do is maintain. Do you realize to make up that amount of deficit, Warren, who, I don't know how many points behind he is, more than 10, isn't it? I don't know how many points behind he is. But in order to make up that amount of deficit, he'd have to get a huge percentage of all the rest of those votes. And Templeton and Bryant, and I thought Kevin Bryant was a great choice for governor. He just didn't catch on. I didn't see him enough. He was on my show twice. We did what we could to make him sound good on the show. We did. I thought he was a great guy. He finished down in almost double digits, I think. And, of course, Yancey McGill. Every time I looked at him, I thought, I like Yancey. Yancey, what are you doing there? I mean, why are you there? When we did the whole thing with Sanford running for Congress in the first place, remember that with the 15 people? Right. There was one guy from Hilton Head, and I had a question I was supposed to ask him because those in the control were telling me, and I said, I'm not asking this. And I tossed it back, and Kelly Gold started laughing. She knows where I'm going. I looked at the guy, and I said, your name is so-and-so. He said, yeah. I said, why are you here? Who are you? I don't know you. So that's where Yancey was on this thing. People know him upstate, but they don't know him here.
Right.
People know who the lieutenant governor is, you would think, except my girlfriend asked me, who's that guy? That's the lieutenant governor. You vote? But anyway, in order to pick up that 10-point thing, and I used to work for NBC,
right.
Okay? You have to get, and the reason they would call an election with 35% in is if a guy is 10 or 15 points ahead, in order for anyone to catch him from behind, you got to win well over half of the votes. Not just some of them, not just half of them. You got to realize, if the votes still go 50-50,
right.
the way they were, McMaster will still win by a big margin. That's what I think will happen.
And you talk about Henry McMaster. Obviously, he got an endorsement from President Donald Trump.
Right, he was the first to jump on the Trump bandwagon. When I talked to Trump's people, they were all excited to talk to me, and I'm like, why? You know, because I didn't think Trump was going to, you know, everybody thought at first, you know, Trump is just going to get in this and then jump out. But then when he stayed in, I realized that what Trump was doing was he was peeling away his, you know, his opponents in the Republican Party like layers of a banana or like pieces of an orange. He was peeling them off one by one. Little Marco and Ted Cruz throwing off Rand Paul. And I'm thinking, wow, this guy's really good at this. And then about 3 months in, I said, this guy's going to win. And everybody laughed at me. All the conservative pundits, many of them got on the air and said, Trump is going to win. And they were laughed at by the left, by CNN, by PMSNBC, by Bill Maher. They laughed off Ann Coulter for saying it. She said it a year ago, more than a year before that she's going to be the next president. They run that clip all the time. She was right. They were wrong. And I know why he won, because he stayed with it. So all McMaster has to do is hang steady. He'll be fine. Short of something really bad happening, I cannot see him losing this primary. I like John Warren, but like I said you on the air so many times, you have to tell me, if you want to beat an incumbent, you have to show me or tell me what you're going to do that's different than what the incumbent does. And you're going to have to tell me about what mistakes that incumbent has made, how you can get them better. Because I can't think of anything particular that Henry McMaster did that was wrong that affects my life. You can't blame SCANA on him. He doesn't work there. You know, you appoint a committee. When they make a mistake, you dump them, right? That kind of thing. You can't, with gas taxes and roads and this, the bridge falling down. How is that his fault? I mean, they were trying, Templeton and all people were trying to point at anything that happened in the state and saying it was all McMaster's fault. All that stuff was in the works long ago. Why not blame it on Nikki Haley? The bridge was there when Haley was governor, right?
You talk about Nikki Haley. Did that really hurt Templeton with her using Nikki Haley name constantly?
It hurt her with the diehard Southerners. Nikki Haley's big mistake in the mainstream pop culture so-called news media that just recently noticed this guy. After all the time you've been here, finally Channel 4 picks you up, and Channel 2 or Channel 5 are going, what? Huh? What? And they're scared to death of me. I just got a scaredy cat email from someone I know in Channel 2, but it's not Raymond Owens. Hey Raymond, it's somebody else.
We love Raymond. He's a nice guy.
Raymond's cool. Raymond's one of the few professionals left in this town that's doing news. Him, Harv, and Bill Burr, and a couple others, that's it. The rest of them are a bunch of kids who can't say Horry County. It's not Horry County. But when you were asking me, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, how did she lose? She was supposed to be the front runner. She was supposed to take this and run to the general election. How did she stop and lose?
Well, she stopped. There's two reasons that Templeton finished third, a far third. First of all, Warren came on. He got all of the internet people, the internet army was on his side.
TV ads.
TV ads, lots of them, ads everywhere, very busy schedule. She did too, but Templeton with the whole thing of shooting the snakes, kind of like Sarah Palin shooting the caribou off the helicopter. I thought about that. Sometimes you're not in the right position to make a joke, and nobody knows that more than me. Sometimes you're not in the right position to do that. Everybody liked her. I thought she would be a good governor. All those candidates I thought would be good. Any one of them could beat the Democrat candidates coming up. Because I don't think this Cunningham guy's got a chance in hell. The snowball in hell.
Well,
no way.
Joe Cunningham is running for the first congressional district, not governor.
Well, I mean, who's the guy running for governor? I can't remember.
Smith, a state
Smith, yeah, he has no chance.
From Richland County.
Well, Cunningham, you should run for governor. You stand just the same chance. Cunningham's not going to beat Darrington. There's no way. But we'll get to that in a second. When it comes to the governor, I can't believe I confused those two. When it comes to the governor, right there, he's already so far ahead that all of the available votes that were in the camp of Templeton and Beyer and even Yancey, all those available votes, way more than half of them have to vote for Warren. And I don't see that happening, like 70-something%, just a guesstimate right there. I mean, more than that. And you can't tell me that a whole bunch of Templeton voters won't say, I don't want John Warren, let's go for Henry again. I think a lot of that's going to happen. If Templeton's vote gets split half and half, Henry will win.
Now, he obviously got the President Donald Trump's endorsement. Why didn't that take him far enough as far as the first primary?
When they called me out, the Trump people, I said, "Why are you calling me?" I mean, I'm thrilled, but because Henry McMaster was the first elected official, big-time elected official, that jumped on the Trump bandwagon long before Trump was even, in second gear on the campaign.
Okay.
We went to see him over at where the Stingrays play,
Right,
the Coliseum. Went to see him at the Coliseum over there, and the place was packed, and he was just beginning. He walks out as a rock star. There's a lot of people who say they don't like President Trump based on his attitude, what he looks like, funny hair, he's got a model for a wife, all that kind of thing. Me, as a voter, and maybe I'm just an old stick-in-the-mud guy, middle-aged guy, I don't know. I don't care what a person looks like as long as they're not slobby looking. You know what I mean? I don't look like a bum. I don't care what they look like. I don't care what color they are. I don't care any of that stuff. I don't even care if they're gay. I don't really care. I only care what the person's going to do in office when it pertains to effect on me. What is this person going to do in office that's going to affect me? When anybody goes in to vote, here's what they do. The last thing they do before they push that button, for you oldsters, flip the switch. The last thing they do before they vote, the last thought, whether it's conscious or subconscious, is, what is this person going to do for me? This vote's good for me. And they do it. That's what the thought is. So you got to be thinking, if you're going to vote for Warren, what is he going to do for you that Henry's not doing? It's like the mistake that Arrington made at first in her campaign and kind of corrected later on with Mark Sanford. I went up to her after the debate, which I didn't think went all that well. I think it was just, were you there?
I watched it on my
It was 103 degrees in there.
with the band and the wedding.
The band was behind a wall, and Mark starts talking, all of a sudden the band starts playing Super Freak. And so, that was funny. I even talked to Sanford afterwards. I said, "What in the hell is that?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, you know why it's so hot here? You're standing right above the kitchen facilities. That's where the kitchen is. It's right down the stairway. I don't know. I told Larry Kabrowski. Larry said, "Yeah, I'm not doing this." I said, could we go upstairs outside? Up on the flight deck, that would be cool.
Yeah.
It'd be windy, it might rain. But I told Arrington afterwards, and I told Mike, one of her campaign managers,
Right.
Michael, I said, "You're going to have her do this."
Michael Moulet.
Right, Michael Moulet. He of the cool beard.
Kind of like mine.
And then, and by the way, when his brother comes around, I can't tell which one is which.
Right.
That twin brother.
Right.
I told Michael, I said, she's going to have to tell us what she can do, okay, besides not be Mark Sanford. Don't vote for Sanford. Don't vote for me because I'm not Mark Sanford. Wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for me. Okay? And she squeaked by. People say, "Oh, big victory." It was only 3,000 votes. Now, the tweet that came out, let's talk about that.
I understand that you have some concerns about it.
I was on the phone immediately when it came out. Lynn Bennett was cracking on me. State Representative Lynn Bennett, a neighbor of mine,
Right.
much to her discontent. I ride my bike by her house and I "Hi, Lynn," and then they hide. Her and Ed hide. "Tell them we're not here." It's like when the when the Jehovah's Witness come to the door. "It's Rocky. Hi, close the drapes." I told her, I said, I don't believe that. I don't believe that came out of Trump's mind right now. I don't think it was spontaneous. I don't think it was. I mean, he's kind of busy. He's doing some things with North Korea and all this stuff. All of a sudden at 4 o'clock he comes out with his tweet. So a lot of theories started being batted around. Like, oh, he just did that because he wants to take credit for her winning. I said, first of all, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time when he did this. The votes hadn't even been started to get counted yet. No, they don't start counting them at 10 a.m. They don't do that. As far as I know, the votes don't get any official counting until after 7 p.m.
Right.
You've seen the line in North Charleston of all the cars coming in.
Right.
I mean, statewide, it's all over the state. Wherever the counting houses are, these cars line up and they've got the ballots in there. And there's usually, sometimes there's armed guards in there and everything.
Right.
And it's very meticulous, man. I mean, they're watching this. If you think they're cheating at the counting house, they're not.
Nope.
Yeah, there'd be people in the oubliette, as they call it in France, the hole in the ground that they throw you in there. Just leave it there. It doesn't happen. The tweet came out, and I can tell you right now, someone from the Arrington camp, and I told her this. I said, someone from the Arrington camp called up someone they knew inside the Trump organization, because Trump was apparently on her side, but was, like most presidents, not getting involved in a primary too much. You know what I'm saying? Someone from the Arrington camp called someone from the Trump camp who got a hold of Trump's ear and says, hey, listen, it's probably going to be Henry unless you do something. It's close. It's neck and neck. Henry's 1 point ahead, maybe. Can you tweet something? Oh, okay, I'll do something bigly. And then he gets on his thing and types it. And they probably wrote it for him, and he added to it. You know, bigly, huge, sad, winner, something like that. His little catchphrases. And they put it out. Do I think it made a lot of difference? No. Could it have kept some people home? Yes. Yes, it could have made some people not vote. Voting turnout was 18%. 18%. It was high in my district. It was high where I live. I voted in West Ashley 29, and at 10 o'clock in the morning, I think it was, I was voter like 300. So that's not bad for one little place, you know, one neighborhood. So that's the tweet that came out. It's collusion. It's Arrington Trump collusion.
Let me get back to the race between Sanford and Arrington.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, Sanford never lost a race until Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Why now?
Went up to him after everybody was gone from the party, and there's no one around. I like to do this when there's nobody, because there's no proof. You can deny this in a second. Culpable deniability, Mark. Went up to him and I shook his hand and whacked him on the shoulder. And I said, hey. And he looked at me like, you know, Rocky D's going to say something. This could be anything, right? I said, what are you going to do now? Now what? He goes, oh, I'll think of something tomorrow. Which, he says, tomorrow's another day. And I said, yeah. Then one of his kids walked up, and it just went like this, went away. Bottom line is, Mark Sanford is not going to suffer. Don't worry if you're a Sanford fan, which I am. If you're a Sanford supporter, which I am. And you're also a person that thinks Arrington is just fine, which I am. You know, don't worry. Mark Sanford is not going to roll up in a corner and disappear. He'll probably take some time off from the time that they end the legislative session up there
right.
through Christmas. You won't see him, and then all of a sudden, if he wants to be a lobbyist up there, he'll make $1 million a year. I mean, I'd hire him in a second, wouldn't you? He knows everybody up there, you know. And this whole thing about his personal life, Appalachian Trail, the divorce, and all that kind of stuff. Wasn't Arrington married twice too? I don't really care. Maybe she wasn't. You'll have to call me if I'm wrong, Katie. But I interviewed Katie Arrington. We had a good time with it. Now she won. She even said she'd like to thank Mark Sanford for all his service that he ran. Yeah, this is not an ungracious campaign. Those people did not snipe at each other. Not even during the debate too much. They took shots in there, but they weren't real headshots or anything. And it was, you know, it was the fact that Mark Sanford was an incumbent, and that how much is the Trump factor come in here? Well, the liberals don't understand. And then there was a tweet that came out today. I saw it up on, I don't know if it's a tweet or it's a bunch of, I don't know what it is. It's from an email. The FBI guys talking.
Right.
The FBI people were mad that Trump got elected. Well, he got the votes, he got elected. Like the people who didn't like when Obama got elected. I didn't like when Obama got elected, but I didn't say let's go impeach him. You know, they were talking about impeachment before he even got elected. And one of these things back and forth, one of the main guys, a guy in control of other people's lives at the FBI, was saying, you know, that all the Donald Trump voters were brainless, toothless, white racist POSs. And this is coming out of the FBI. There is something there. They don't get it. What it's really all about with the Trump voters is these are just working Americans who felt like they weren't being represented anymore. I mean, there is no, when it comes to his campaign versus the last president's campaign and win, you know, there is no Obama lady, okay? There is no, what's her name, that representative out of California, that kooky lady, and with the hat, all the hats that she wears all the time.
Oh, you mean Maxine Waters?
There's no Maxine Waters in the Republican Party. There's nobody like that. There's no Obama phone lady in the Trump campaign. There is nobody that equates to that. I mean, these people, and I know the Obama phone lady, her name was Michelle. Did you know that? Now you do. Her name was Michelle. And she kind of got disillusioned by Obama, but she was out there yelling, you know, Obama, give me a phone, and he's gonna, you know, it was all gimme, gimme, gimme. You don't hear the Trump supporters yelling, gimme, 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 do you? It's all do it yourself. The reason that Trump was overall elected wasn't because of discontent of working people in particular. Although that was a big factor, it doesn't have to do with the white vote or any of that kind of stuff, the black vote not showing up for Hillary. The reason it happened in the first place largely was because Donald Trump is a businessman, and that's what people wanted in office. It's not a social justice warrior office. It is a business office. Look at what he's done in the last, I'm surprised. Look what he did with North Korea. You think he's not? And then, of course, the liberals are on TV. Oh, Kim Jong-un is leading him around by his nose. Kim Jong-un is only in the place he is because of military force. Okay? He didn't get elected. And if he ran for office in a free election, he wouldn't get elected. Okay?
He's on the age with me.
He's a little creep.
Oh, well, I'm not that.
Yeah. Well, no. He's a little creep. I mean, he's just a little weird guy. And so by Trump treating him like a human being, it makes him feel better. Like, well, he gave up his the South Korean military rights for us to train with him. Yeah, for now. Because the question, the message that Donald Trump gave in those hearings was clear and loud. You know, we are America, biatch. Got it?
And you talk about messages. Obviously, Charleston City Council member William Dudley Gregory.
I just talked to him.
Yeah, he wants to send a message to the city of Charleston, basically say, "Hey, please apologize for slavery in this town."
What good would that do? What good would that do? You're black. The city says, "Gee, we're sorry for slavery." What do you do with that? What do you do with that? What do you do with that? I mean, you can't apologize. People that are alive today cannot apologize. Or a city cannot apologize for things people did 200 years ago. It won't make any difference. It won't make anybody feel any better. I don't know what's going on with this. Look, is the country of Italy and the city of Rome going to apologize to me for the Romans picking on my ancestors 1,500 years ago? No, and they shouldn't. Why would they? You know, are the American Indians going to apologize for taking slaves and trading slaves even before Africans came here? No. There were white slaves brought here. Is Ireland is Ireland and Spain and France all going to apologize? No. Are the Muslims going to apologize for slavery? They're still doing it. Did you know that there are 23 million slaves alive today? Way more than there were back in the 1840s. Way more. And most of them are out of Africa. And they don't come to North America. They're not sent to Europe. They're sent into the East, the Middle East. And you want to know why there aren't a lot of descendants of black African slaves? Because remember, I know African American, all Africa is not black. I get it. He's a black American. Africa isn't all black. There's whites, and there's Persians living there, you know, and there's everything else living there. Africa's a continent. Do you want to know why there aren't a lot of descendants of slaves in the Middle East that are black from Africa? Because they castrated them. Yeah. Big difference. Apologizing for slavery is just a political move made to do something for somebody else. So I asked Dudley on the way here, I talked to him on the phone not more than an hour before we're doing this. I was sitting outside, that's why you're waiting for me. Sitting outside the parking lot. I said, come on, Dud, what are you doing now? And he just laughed, and he started doing that, what we call the ghetto debate. Did you ever hear that? The way to do that is a game we played when we were a kid in my old hood. You just keep talking. The other person can't get a word in edgewise because your sentence never has a period. It just keeps going. So the other person can never debate what you're saying. And the first person who stops talking and loses what he's saying, that's the other guy wins. So he starts doing that to me, and I said, Dudley, I just broke it on him and said, it's not going to make any difference. I said, I want to know what the end game is here. What's your real idea? Oh, we just want to, it's good for the city to... No, it's not. It's not good for the city. And I told him, you're going to go after Rome, you're going to go after France, you go after Ireland for bringing the original Irish slaves here, way before the Africans ever came here. Are you going to go after the American Indians for taking slaves? Because they did that before any of us got here. Are you going to go after the Africans right now for selling their own people? You want an apology for slavery or for black Africans being brought to the United States? How about you go after the people, I told him this. I said, how about you after you find out who the people are related to go back. How about the black Africans that sold their own people back then into slavery? Should those descendants apologize too? The answer obviously is no. No, because you can't control what your great-great-great-grandfather did. In my case, my family, we're out of Italy. I'm a second-generation American. We didn't get here until 1904 and 1905, respectively, on either side. We didn't get here. We weren't here. And while black people were slaves in the United States, and some white people, and maybe some Hispanics, and some American Indians too, while they were all slaves, and all the way from the southeast up to the northeast, right, all the way there, what was the United States? I mean, my relatives, my ancestors were getting purple toenails from squishing grapes. I mean, they weren't making, a good living either. And you remember when Abraham Lincoln didn't want the states out west to be slave states? Right. You know the real reason, don't you? He didn't want blacks going out there at all. In fact, he made a statement on a speech to Nebraska from Peoria, Illinois in 1854 that said that the western states should be, this is before he became president, the western states should be a place for poor white people to escape to make a better life. Blacks should not be out there. He made that statement. Go look it up. This is Abraham Lincoln. Right. Again, I'll tell you, and I say this all the time on your show, the Emancipation Proclamation, and every history professor knows this, they all know this, they don't teach it, but they know this, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free anybody. Didn't free anyone. So to Dudley, I have this to say, to William, I have this to say, are you going to make every other state apologize too? I know you don't live there, we live here, but the apology is a stupid thing. I think it has to do with this. We're coming up on the anniversary of Emanuel AME shooting, right, which, by the way, friends, is right there. Right. It's right across the street. And 9 of our neighbors were killed, one of which I knew. Okay? I didn't have breakfast with the guy. I did have lunch with him. I knew Clement Pinckney in a professional sense. Right. This guy shot 9 of our neighbors, and I was stunned when it was blamed on Confederate flags. 2 days later, I'm hearing all about Confederate flags, and I'm going, what? Well, he had a Confederate flag. Anybody can buy a Confederate. You get him at the flea market. He wasn't a member of any organization. I think it has to do, the apology thing, has something to do with that. It has something to do with raising money. Not for William Dudley Gregory in particular, but I think it might have something to do with the National Action Network, which still hasn't answered to me why they're not on the Secretary of State's list of taxpayers. Nobody's ever answered that. How come you don't pay state taxes? Hey, National Action Network, who pays you? How much money you make? I mean, if you're a charity group, then a FOIA should show all your salaries. How come I can't get one? How come my FOIA was ignored? How come the Secretary of State can't find that information out? How come you don't answer the phone? So I think it has to do with money for those groups and nothing else. I think this is, I'm surprised at Dudley for this one. I'm surprised at William because it's a cheap, it's a cheap trick. It's like an old movie trick. What do you do in a movie trick if you want sympathy from the audience? Put a child in danger. Everybody in the audience is on their side. Get that child out of danger, right? Here it is. We're gonna use Confederate flags and slavery as a boogeyman in this situation to say why we should apologize. I got news for you. I'm not apologizing to anybody. What would it mean to you? You're a black man. You're younger and better looking than me. Well, he is. Take a look. In fact, I'm sorry for slavery. You would think that I was having you up. You'd be checking your wallet. What did he steal? He stole my wallet. Because you know me already. My grandparents didn't even come here. Okay? I'm a second-generation American. I don't know your background. Do you have slaves in your background? Slaves? You don't? Do you know? You don't want to answer?
Rocky D, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Well, if you do have slaves in your background, friends, look at it this way. A lot of the records are incomplete. It's like trying to find Confederate ancestors. When the Union came through and burned places like Atlanta and all that kind of stuff, a lot of records were destroyed. If you have any pieces of Confederate literature or letters written to home, any equipment, guns, uniforms, boots, buckles, anything you got. Boots are real hard to find. Keep them. They're worth about 5 times more than Union Army stuff because most of it was destroyed, there was less of it to begin with. So if you have any Confederate, and if you're a black person, you can call yourself African American, black, Negro, colored guy, I don't care what you call yourself. Okay, if you're a black person and your generations go back in this area, likely you were related to a black Confederate soldier somewhere, or a white Confederate soldier. You know, when it comes to the apology thing with Dudley,
Right.
William Ellison lived right up the street in Sumter, and you know who he is. Look him up, friends. William Ellison, black slave owner. I've been to his house, well, what used to be his house. Famous artist now lives there, and you see his work all over Charleston. And William Ellison was a slave runner, a feared guy in town. A lot of people were afraid of him because slave runners were not looked at positively, even in the days of slavery. They were afraid of them the way we're afraid of drug pushers now. You know, we don't like them, we don't want them. We know they're there, but we can't stop them individually. But William Ellison was black, you see. And he traded black people with his black friends from Africa and stuff like that. There were black Confederates, there were black slaveholders, there were white slaves. Indians took slaves, okay? There were some Indian troops, Indian tribes that fought for the Confederacy. All this stuff is never talked about. So Dudley, what you talking about, Dud? I mean, we're going to apologize to who? For what? Who do I apologize to first? And who apologizes to me? I'm sorry I went so long.
Oh no, I was going to say the battery's running out here. But we'll catch up.
I'm sorry, battery. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, College of Charleston. I'm sorry that whatever. Fill in the blank. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Quintin Washington, and the end of his show.
Thank you.